Hey guys, I'm here once again with a tutorial for you, and I recently got a request from Lincoln Fan 4, actually requesting on how to do my amazing card trick number 3, which is basically my version of the 3-card Monty. And I originally wanted 20 subscribers, but I'll settle for whatever I have right now. I'm just beginning, so if somebody wants to learn the trick, I'm not gonna stop them from learning. I'm gonna teach them that. So first, I'm gonna go show you how it's done, and you can also watch my amazing card trick number 3, and it's just my performance. There's no tutorial. This is going to be the performance in the tutorial, just so you have it all in one video. So I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to show you how to set it up. So enjoy. Okay, so a guy walks up to me to the street and says, "I have 3 cards, sir." Says, "You want to are you a gambling man?" I say, "Yeah, every once in a while." He goes, "Okay, I have 1, 2, 3 cards, okay?" And it is the 2 aces sandwiching the king of hearts, the black and the red, okay? And he says, if I flip the pack over and I ask you to take your finger and just you pull out yourself the king of hearts, okay, which is in the middle, and put it on the table. And he tells me, what card is on the table now? And I would say the king of hearts, but I know that you can never win gambling, so I'm not really going to gamble. He says, well, what if I tell you that I do, in fact, have 2 cards? And I tell him, you know what? I still don't think I'm gonna bet, okay? He goes, you know what? I'm gonna show you that. I do have the 2 aces here, okay? The ace of spades and ace of clubs. So the only other card is the king of hearts. So he's seeing that I have 2 cards. I bet I say, I bet $5 then. And he says, okay, well flip the card over. And still showing me the aces in my hand. I flip this card over, and it's a joker. And I'm thinking, where'd the king of hearts go? He goes, well, everybody has to be a joker once in a while, and you just lost $5, sir. I said, well, all right. So, I was wondering how he did it, and I figured it out, and now I'm going to show you guys how he did it. Now, you're going to need a gimmick card, and your gimmick card is going to look like this. You're going to have one of your outside aces, and you're going to have a flap with the king of hearts, king of diamonds, anything other opposite colors than your outside aces. If your outside aces are red, then you can use a black king or a black queen or outside queens. Anything you'd like, but I like using the aces with the king of hearts or diamonds in the middle for visual effects. Now you're going to have a flap which is taped here and then folded over to look like, so when I go to put them together like this, it looks like the 3 cards are there, correct? Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to start from scratch. And if you don't have a joker, feel free to use a 2, and you can leave the joker part out. You can use a 2, and as long as it's something else than king of hearts, it will be fantastic. So I'm going to start off by scratch. First, you're going to need 2 aces, 2 black aces, a red king, and a joker. That's all you need, and scotch tape and some scissors. And that's all you need for this trick, okay? Now, I'm going to take the king, okay, and I'm going to cut it about a third of the way in and go diagonally straight to the top middle, okay? And I'm going to cut that off. Throw the bigger piece away, and I'm going to, or save it and do another, and cut it again for another, just have an extra set of these around. And now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to cut just about, just a small amount off the bottom so it doesn't hang over the edge, maybe a little more. And then I'm going to measure up how I would like this to be. You want it somewhat like this. That way when you cover it up with this, it looks uniform. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take the king and you're going to flip it over and you're going to tape the back. Okay, so just make sure you have your angles good enough the way you want it. And then put it down and you're going to tape the back with some scotch tape. I like to go a little bit over it and then just square it off by cutting it. I like to just make sure I cover the whole card. That way I don't have a chance of it slipping. So just measure it out, Okay. And then press down and put your finger now or something right along the edge here so you can really, really put a crease. You need a nice crease so it's easy to flap back and forth, okay? You wanted a pretty easy crease here, okay? So now we have this here, just like this. Just a flap here. Okay, and then all you need is to put your joker or your two of hearts or whatever it may be and stick that on top and stick your other ace. So it should look like this, okay? You should have this on top and then the joker on top in the middle of the aces. And from there it's fine. Make sure you just put 3 down, okay? And then you pick the first one up, which is the gimmick card, all the way to your left, okay? And then you pick the next one up, which is the joker, and you say I have 2 cards. And you place that behind the gimmick card, as so. And just make sure you don't go over that way, okay? It's better if you go under, but try to get it right on target. And then you have that, and then you're going to say, and I have 3 cards. And you're going to cover up the gimmick and this. And you're going to need to put your thumb here in order to, you're going to need to put your thumb down here in order to cover up the blemishes down here. See how you can see the bottom? You're going to have to put your thumb here. That's why you hold it like this. And you cannot see, if you hold it like that, you cannot see whatsoever what happened at the bottom. And then you just go from the trick. You tell them to place it down. Tell them to keep the king of hearts or the king of diamonds out on the table. And then you show them, say, it's still there. You don't got to worry about it. And as they do that, you're pulling, if I can show you this view, you're pulling the joker out, but the king is still staying there. Okay? And then you just tell them, like, look, I have 2 here, and you just go on with the rest of the trick, as I did in my video. I have 2 here. How much would you bet that that's the king of diamonds? And they say, well, it's a magic trick, and I don't think I'm going to bet. And then I say, well, I have 2 cards here. And as you're flipping through them, you can just show them, you know, it's 1 card right here. Just be sure this flat doesn't come up. And then when you go to show them, say, then you cover it up again and say, well, look, I do have the 2 aces in my hand. So out of 3 cards, this has to be the king of diamonds. And then you say, well, maybe I'll bet maybe $2 or $3, and say, okay. And then you say, flip that over. And they go to flip it over, and indeed, it is not the king of diamonds. It is the joker. And that, my friends, is how you do the 3-card Monty. Any questions, clarifications, comments, ratings, subscribers, just, you know what to do. Thanks, as always, for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.